what that means. I think it's 71 degrees. The ground temperature has to be at 71 degrees in order for morel mushrooms to pop up. Not to mention the fact we don't have any dandelions yet either. Usually them come around the same time as the morel mushrooms.
Dear road rivals, charging extra for Apple CarPlay? You gotta be kidding. To get Apple CarPlay in a Honda Civic can cost a lot more. In a Corolla, it's standard. Come on, Corolla. Toyota, let's go places.
Wow, how time flies. 10 years I've been doing weekly video forecast.
Morwl Report, April 28th, 2010.
I'm Chris Mather with the Morwl Mushroom Hunting Club. I just want to give you my predictions and estimations of what's going to come for the 2011 morel season.
A Morwl Report for March the 2nd, 2013.
The Morwl Mushroom Hunting Club, and this is my prediction for the 2014 season.
Hi, I'm Lavina Ray, and this is the video Morwl Report with the Mushroom Hunting Club, and I'm going to give you the reports for May 31st, and it's 2013.
Hey, I'm Chris Mather with the Morwl Mushroom Hunting Club. February 29th, 2020. Been doing these forecasts over 10 years now. So anyway, I've put together quite a bit of research and have my predictions ahead here. First, we're going to look at what's been found in the month of February so far. Not just some states, but we got some in foreign countries as well. So what's been found in February so far across the country? Just in the last week, there's been several new ones, new states and everything. So here's some pictures of what's been found so far, including Greece and France, United Kingdom, Spain. It's on right now. It's starting pretty good, and I think it's going to be a pretty good season. You're going to see that here in a minute. That one was frostbit in Georgia. January was warm. I had several people ask me what the mild winter is going to do to the season, and I felt that it really wouldn't make much difference, and it hasn't, because it cooled back down just like it usually does. There's a few early birds. February 14th was the first one in Aiken, South Carolina, and this is the latest map. And then I'm going to show you a last year's map at the same time. So we're a little more active this year. And then that's last year's forecast, and it was pretty accurate. It was pretty complicated, but I do a lot of research to find into it. This was the progression of last year's maps into end of March, and then here's this year's. Got one in Oklahoma and Texas now. Then I'm doing state maps. This is part of the member benefits. There's going to be state maps in the member areas. And this first video, morel forecast, is always open to the public and free and accessible on YouTube. And then I do them weekly after this. And hope to see you join the club. And
You know what really hits the spot after spending 12 hours in a room with no windows? Not a protein bar. I'm talking
So it was a pretty mild winter over a lot of the country, and I got many requests to, questions about what is this mild winter going to do to the 2020 morel season. So I ended up doing a little blog. It's on the main page if you scroll down from the top, and you'll see the blog section there, and just click on the one that has what's the mild winter going to do. And I also did a video about it too. So, and in a quick note, if you don't have time to look at the blog, I told most people, some members that I messaged back and just told them that probably not a lot of mild winter. Normally, in 20 years of research, only one time did it warm up, like in January, and stayed warm. And it was like in the 70s and 80s in February. This was back in maybe 2013, maybe, or 2014, I'm not sure. And it blew them out all the way. I think there was even some black morels found in southern Michigan in the end of February or something that year. It was crazy. In any event, this year it was mild, but the moisture content in this, with the exception of the Pacific Northwest and the snow content through the winter, is not a huge factor. Bottom line is, it's got to be right when the ground temperature's right, when the morels are just starting. So it could be a blowed up, dry, nothing, no snow, no rain, winter, mild, whatever, as long as it was cold enough to keep the ground temperature under 52, 53 degrees, and as long as it, well, that's the main thing. That's what triggers the morels. So the moisture is secondhand, the temperature is first. So it could be a blowed up, messed up, crazy warm, crazy cold winter, as long as the ground temperature don't go. And when I say ground temperature, it's not the surface. It's about maybe 3 inches down or so, where the mycelium is and where they're going to start growing. So in any event, that is not really too much. Like I said, the exception is the Pacific Northwest, because they require and they need the snow melt in the spring, but they can't. They need a lot of snow for the snow melt, but they also need a lot of spring rains as well to keep it moist for the naturals and the burn sites. So, in any event, the mild winter didn't do a lot, and here we are. 3 weeks ago, my buddy CJ Garden, I'm sure he's going to be watching this here in a minute, in Nashville, he was all blown out of proportion because he thought, in a week the morels were going to come up. And I said, yep, they would if it continued to be this warm. But I go upon my gut feeling first, and then I do the research, and I kind of combine it all together to come up with every year's forecast. And last year, I was pretty accurate. It was really a kind of a weird, crazy one last year. There was flooding in the south. I said it was going to be below average. This year, there's really not any below average. There's more average or above average in even some epic areas. So I think it's going to be a pretty good year overall. Here's my data. Happy hunting, and I'll see you in the woods. A lot of factors go into my forecast. I start with my gut feeling, and then I check the monthly outlook and things like that. This one was the original March outlook, but weather changes. You'll see.
Well, some cold air is going to kick off the first few days of March. That's right. This is our temperature outlook leading us into the next month. And what we're going to see, for the reason behind this, is a bulge northward in the jet stream towards Alaska, which we're showing to you here in this particular graphic. So when we see that happening, we start to have a little more warm air building in across the southwest. But then you notice there is this big shift where the cold air gets driven down into the lower 48, and it's basically an open door for the Arctic air to just come spilling on in. So we also want to show you our average high temperatures in March, and you see they range from the 30s, depending on how north you are, to the 70s and a few select spots in the 80s. Now, most of the southeast and the mid-Atlantic have at least a 50% chance of being below these average temperatures during the first week, but
so the last 7 days has been pretty wet in the east, and then if you look back on the 30-day precip, it's incredibly amount wet in the southeast especially, but the eastern half of Texas is looking good. The outlet for precipitation shows very south wet. Ground temperature is a big thing to look for. Morwl start activating around 52 degrees, and there's a few specific locations with the ground temperature. It had warmed up and
52 degrees.
Almost hit the situation for Morwls, and then it cooled back down. So this is how good it'll be. This is my forecast. And then the timing is another thing. You've got to look for, my best thing for timing is redbud blooming, and then like dogwoods starting to bloom, and also lilac. And this
Ours are going to show up on time this year.
When to look. Start looking at just kind of an average.
I should start looking.
Pretty close this year.
Because, I mean, it's the ground temp
We've
might
had
be at 52.
daffodils blooming and dandelions here in Atlanta for 2 or 3 weeks, but my redbud tree barely has any signs whatsoever of budding out. That's kind of the best indicator. I really encourage everyone to become an official member for as little as $20. You'll get the latest maps, updated the state maps. You'll get weekly video Morwl reports and forecasts for just $20. It's not that much. This is the member benefits, and you can even, one of the other good member benefits is for identification. You can text me directly, and I'll do my best to help you with identification or answer a question or anything. That's part of becoming a member. You get in the inner circle and can interact directly with me.
All right, I want everybody to say party favor. This doesn't happen every time, and this exceeds any foray I've ever had as far as the amount of Morwl. So, what an incredible amount.
Come and join me on a guided hunt, a foray. Several are getting filled up, but there's still a few spots left on some of them. I've got about 15 on all sorts of states included. We've got a $50 discount I've extended now until March the 5th, and or you can just call me to register at 478-217-5200. Happy hunting, see you in the woods. Go to morwlmushroomhunting.com and then click on shop. I got several books available, and mushroom hunting gear, walking sticks, mesh bags, mushroom knives, everything you can think of. And enjoy your year. It's going to be a good one.